Hey YouTube, welcome to another video from SkinnyMedic. In this video I want to talk about the application of cat tourniquets in children. I've done videos on cat tourniquets, there's other people who are doing videos on cat tourniquets, but no one's talking about videos with children. Can you apply the cat tourniquet to a child? Does it work? Is it effective? With the active shooters we're having in schools, the threats to our children now, this is a legitimate question. Can we attach this to our children? The answer to this question is yes. You can use a cat tourniquet on children with their extremity injuries with massive bleeding. Massive bleeding meaning you think they are going to die because they're bleeding so bad. This isn't a bicycle wreck. This isn't the fall, off the bicycle. This is, they have massive hemorrhaging, gunshot wound, knife wound, that they're going to die if you don't stop the bleeding. You're going to apply this the exact same way you would on a normal adult. Go through the first buckle here. There's no need to go through the second buckle on children because you're not going to need that much leverage. So, first buckle. You want to apply this tight. I mean, when you go to put this, cinch this down, you've got to put as if you're thinking you're going to control the bleeding with just this amount of pressure here. So this is really tight. Wrap it around here. Turn this Windsor here until the bleeding stops. It locks into place here. Spin this other, your extra excess here. This gets tucked in. Gets tucked in there. This will protect it from coming unwound if it gets pulled. Here, this gets pulled, it's not going to come loose. Try to mark the time down. There are two schools of thought on applying the tourniquet. One is high and tight, just get it as high on the extremity. Apply the tourniquet, that way you know that you get the extremity covered because you want to go closest to the body from the extremity. The other thought is 2 to 3 inches above the injury. So, and that's a debate on when and where you're applying the tourniquet. If you're under high pressure, sometimes high and tight is just the easiest way to apply the tourniquet. Typically, when you go through an extremity, the lower extremity to the leg, you want to go through both sides of the buckle there. It's kind of hard to see. Both sides. But there again, on a child's leg, so small, you can just go through this first loop. There you can see, even on as small as my little boy is, that the tourniquet can be applied to his lower extremity. One of the problems you may run into is when you go to apply this tourniquet to a child is getting this part here, because this is a hard plastic here, is getting it to actually wrap around the child's arm or leg. So if they are smaller, it may not get the pressure that it needs. This is the part here where I was talking about on an adult. When you go through the leg, you typically run it through both sections because there's not as much Velcro to hold to. So typically there. But on a child, their arm and legs are so small that you don't have to do that. You can run it through the first one here. Pull this as tight as you can possibly get it, as if you were trying to cut off blood flow just by putting this Velcro on. Here. Spin this around. Typically 3 or 4 times is what you're going to have to do to get the blood flow to stop. Then if you had this extra, you'd wrap it around. Put it on, mark the time. According to the manufacturer, TCCC, this can be applied 2 hours. They used to say 4 to 6 hours, but 2 hours is the applicable time for this. And there's documented cases of it being up to 16 hours. There's a helicopter pilot that went down, applied it to himself. He was evac'd, and this was on for 16 hours. That gentleman is back flying now at this time. I just can't stress enough that this is not for a child who's fallen off the bicycle, has a scrape to his knee, or is falling on the basketball court, playground. This is for massive hemorrhaging, okay? We're talking about active shooters in classrooms, schools. There are crazy things happening that our children might be exposed to. So this is for active shooter, gunshot wound, knife wound to our children, and that we can apply tourniquets for them. Thank you for watching. You never know when you'll be the first responder.